Hello and welcome to the history of Stargate. Today's episode, Replicator and the destruction of the Replicators. After escaping from their near destruction, the human form replicator, known as Fifth, began to create a duplicate of Lieutenant Colonel Samantha Carter, known as Replicator. This model then apparently escaped to the Milky Way galaxy in order to invade Fifth and enlist the aid of the real Carter, stating that she only wanted to live in peace. She claimed that the Replicators had developed a cipher that made them resistant to the Replicator disruptor weaponry. Working together with Replicator, they deciphered what was believed to be a solution as the Replicators were coming to the Milky Way galaxy. When Fifth's vessel arrived in orbit, the weapon was activated by Replicator, who destroyed Fifth, after which she revealed that it had all been a trick, as Replicator used Carter to help the Replicators develop an immunity to the disruptor technology. She then escaped through the Stargate and took command of the Replicator armies. Sometime later, the Replicators began their invasion of the Milky Way, which began with Replicator's infiltration of the Goa'uld Empire's Summit Station. The hordes of Replicators began attacking Goa'uld assets throughout the galaxy and began taking over their Hatak vessels. One such vessel encountered SG1 and kidnapped Dr. Daniel Jackson, who was placed in a facsimile world by Replicator, who disguised herself as Oma Dasala, in order to gain the knowledge of the ancients from Jackson. By the time Jackson learned of the deception, it was too late. Replicator discovered a weapon on the planet Dakara that was the only threat to her. Taking her massive confiscated Hatak fleet, she assaulted Dakara, which contained the elements of SG1, the Jaffa Rebellion, and a fleet from the Goa'uld System Lord Baal. At the same time, despite protesting that she had no intention of invading Earth to Jackson, the Replicator forces overrode Stargate Command's Stargate and began spilling in to attack the Cheyenne Mountain complex. In addition, she sent one of her spider ships to Dakara's surface itself, which began to assault the Free Jaffa and Tauri positions there. It was only the intervention and sacrifice of Jackson that helped stall the Replicator forces, who were frozen in place temporarily, until Replicator regained control of the subspace link. However, by this time the weapon at Dakara was calibrated, which fired a Replicator disruptor wave through a modulated Stargate, which dialed every planet in the galaxy. The wave disintegrated the Replicators and killed Replicator, though the menace was not over. In 2007, while in the Altarian home galaxy, when SG1 was searching for the Ark of Truth, James Marek, under the orders of the International Oversight Advisory, used the Asgard computer core of the Odyssey to create a replicator. The replicator was specifically modified by an unknown person who gave the program to Marek. They were immune to the anti-replicator gun, have all the knowledge of the Odyssey and its systems, and a self-destruct built into them. He told them that it was the IOA's contingency plan, since they didn't blow up the Stargate. When Lieutenant Colonel Samantha Carter released the newly created replicators from the force field, Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Mitchell shot it with the ARG, but it had no effect. The replicator quickly ran away and hid. In hiding, it became a queen and began to replicate. A group of these new replicators eventually broke into Marek's cell and attempted to stop the self-destruct from happening, took over his body by sticking their legs into his back and controlling him. Meanwhile, Mitchell located the Queen and set up a C4 charge, waiting for Carter's orders to blow up the Queen to distract the rest of the replicators before they break into the Asgard core room. While Mitchell was waiting, the replicator-controlled Marek arrived and started to fight him. With the replicators controlling his body, he seemed to have much more strength and resistance to attacks. Mitchell and Marek fought for some time until at one point when Mitchell pulled one of the replicator legs out of Marek's back. While this was happening, Marek released from their control and spoke to Mitchell, telling him of how the replicators took him to get the self-destruct code, which he managed to reveal was on the other side of the crystal used to create them. Right after this, the replicators retook control of his body, and he resumed attacking Mitchell until eventually Mitchell electrocuted him using a wire on the wall and stumbled out into the hallway where Marek was stunned. During this time, several soldiers were fighting off a large number of replicators who were trying to break through to the Asgard computer core room. While this was happening, the Odyssey was also under attack from 4 Ori warships. Mitchell finally detonated the explosive after he saw Marek walking out of the room towards him. However, this did not stop the Replicators. From the body's ashes, Replicator blocks arose in the form of a human skeleton and moved towards Mitchell. At the same time, the Replicators began to break through the ceiling of the Asgard core room, shortly before Carter retrieved the self-destruct program from the opposite side of the control crystal that Marek used to create it and activates it. Right as the skeleton Replicator reached Mitchell, it, along with all the rest of the Replicators, disassembled, finally ending the Replicator threat. Thank you for watching the history of Replicator and the destruction of the Replicators. Special thanks to Stargate Fandom for all information you heard today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you can. If you have, thank you, and have a nice day. Goodbye.